Okay, let's bring in our political director, Adam Sexton. Okay, Adam, let's get granular here. What towns and cities specifically does Nikki Haley need to do well or even exceed expectations to even keep this thing close today?
Well, Jen and Steve, tonight Nikki Haley needs to not get blown out in the more Republican-leaning towns, and she needs to do really well in the communities with those swing undeclared voters, and also in places you might normally think of as more Democratic strongholds. For instance, to have a really good night, she needs to be well over 50% in places like Portsmouth, Bedford, Amherst, Concord, Bow, Keene, Lebanon, and Hanover. She's got to run up the score in these towns and cities, showing a lot of strength with those undeclared voters, and also the voters who are coming out just to vote against Trump. And those folks are out there. They might not vote for the Republican candidate in November, but they are turning out today almost in protest to send a message against Trump. How many of them are going to vote is truly unknown, but they're definitely a part of what would be a winning coalition for Haley. So in addition to doing well in her best towns, Haley also needs to hold her margins in the communities where we know Trump is going to do well. We saw the former president in Londonderry earlier today. That's a GOP stronghold. There are a lot of solid Republican votes in Derry right next door as well. Hudson, Pelham, Salem, Plastow. That southern tier, Rockingham County town belt there, it's like the conservative suburbs of Boston. They can end up giving a candidate a combined total of a pretty good chunk of votes. Haley really needs to avoid getting crushed in those places. If Trump can pull in well over 60% in those towns and cities, and she's not in the 60% range in her best towns and cities, it's going to get away from her, and she's looking at a double-digit loss. She also needs to break even in places like Manchester, Goffstown, Littleton, and Laconia. If we see Trump with strong, decisive margins in those locations, that's another indicator Haley could be heading for a loss. Now, this is where expectations come into play. A lot of polls have shown Haley losing by double digits. If she can keep this closer, even under 10, losing by 5 or 6 would be something her campaign could run with to try to keep things going to South Carolina. But as Mitt Romney noted a few years back, there's only so many bronze and silver medals you can win in this process and carve out a path to the presidential nomination, because she's not up against just any candidate. Her opponent right now is a former president of the United States with an entire populist political movement behind him. Haley needs a good headline coming out of New Hampshire tonight to keep her fundraising and her momentum going. Steve and Jen.
All right, so Adam, to that end, Haley campaign has been steadfast. They say it is on to South Carolina. They already have an event scheduled there for tomorrow. They've already made their ad buy in South Carolina, they point out. But what happens here? Let's say she loses by 8 or 9 and keeps this thing going. There's still a month till the primary itself.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of pressure. Obviously, you saw that on Ron DeSantis in the week after Iowa. He really wanted to keep the fight going, but then he hit that wall of, most importantly, probably donors telling him, hey, we're not with you anymore if you can't get numbers here, and he's out. So Haley, not only that, she has to face her own donors if she has a bad number here tonight, but also think of the Trump movement. That's going to be a lot of pressure on her, and from other people peripheral to politics who are going to be saying, we need to move out of this race if she doesn't post a good number tonight.
Yes, and on that supposition, one more for you, Adam. So if Trump is successful here, it's a big win for him. In the spirit of knocking Haley from this race, how unique would it be even moving out of this process and end it so early?
Right. I don't think we would have ever seen something this early, this possible, basically, to this point. But, you know, I think we saw Gore and Bush lock up their nominations de facto in March of 2000. So it would be extraordinarily rare to see a race end in New Hampshire. We're usually the ones who just narrow the field.